Hello guys! 50 out of 83 regions inside the Russian Federation experience a serious gasoline crisis. And here I need to turn on the sarcastic Anna regime because how else can I remind you the times when Russia described itself as an energy superpower? Where is that now, when in Astrakhan people cannot buy more than 10-20 liters of gasoline per car? And they actually had to extend the ban on the export of gasoline and add one more ban on the export of diesel. And that is in a country that was considered the gas station of the world. And we all know that selling its energy is the main way of the Kremlin to earn money for their war machine. So our Ukrainian drone sanctions turn out to be very successful. And they also deliver the message to millions of Russians who see how half of their gas stations are closed in the temporarily occupied Crimea, and even in Moscow, lots of gas stations that belong to Tatneft, to Lukoil are closed. And what makes the whole situation even more pathetic, the Kremlin has just lifted the duties on the import of gasoline, which means they do understand they cannot protect their oil refineries, pumping stations, export ports, and they accept this destiny so that they will not produce the fuel they need and they will try to get it from other countries. But here we have to remember about the empty Russian budget. So thumbs up for our sanctions. You can guess which one. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see the defeat and demilitarization of Russia that has already started, subscribe, and please share these videos to spread the truth and to spread some really good news. So Russia officially extends the ban on the gasoline export, and we all know that for millions of people, billions of people around the world, the very first association with Russia was petrol, oil, caviar. So they also continued restrictions on the exports of diesel. They added a number of products that were super important for the Russian export just before the start of the Ukrainian drone sanctions. And that includes marine, like fuel, ship fuel, also diesel, that includes various gas oils, and this is super serious because there is no way they can satisfy the demand inside the country, but actually there is no way they can protect the destroyed oil refineries or prevent more sanctions imposed. It's interesting because most of these oil refineries were constructed with the support of parts from the European Union, from the United States, and now real economic functions prevent Russia from repairing this system. So they actually want to stop the extraction of oil in that amount because they have nowhere to refine it and they have nowhere to get more fuel. That is why the Kremlin has just lifted the ban on import of gasoline, a country that always boasted gasoline production, that was associated with this energy resources. Number one, perhaps, association that you have is prepared to import it from other countries. By the way, I don't know which. To tell you the truth, I was surprised to learn that Russia ranked the third among the producers of oil after the United States and Saudi Arabia. So with these constant failures inside the Russian oil refining industry, I have a feeling that the United States, Saudi Arabia will easily substitute Russia until it is demilitarized, defeated, and reconstructed in a more kind, humane way. Subscribe to witness that together, and please share these videos, leave your comments and likes, and remember to hit that bell to get notifications from our community. So They are preparing to import that gasoline. I wonder where from, but people already experience that shortages in very different regions of the Russian Federation. In the temporarily occupied Crimea, the situation is very serious. There are lots of reports. We have a lot of good Ukrainian people that wait for the liberation of these territories, and they show the reality as it is. At least 50% of gas stations are closed, and they need to use the Kerch Bridge to carry some fuel to the peninsula. They are afraid to use railroads because their trains keep exploding, and you know how easily they detonate when they are full of oil and gasoline that are already a serious shortage, like exotic products inside Russia. So they keep using alternative ways, and another proof why Kerch Bridge is strategic for the Russian occupiers, and you can guess what I mean. So but some regions, even far away from the front lines, also have serious troubles with gasoline, and they cannot satisfy the demand not just of the Russian families, but even of different companies. And lots of logistics, transportation companies, trucks stay empty because this ratio that they introduce does not allow them to operate. It's actually, once again, returns us back to the times of the Soviet Union. And on my new channel, Anna Danilchuk, I have a very interesting video about queues, and I compare queues for gasoline in Russia with Soviet queues. And watch it if you haven't. And this is exactly what people experience. And there is no need to stand in that queue if you are allowed to get 10, 20 liters for your car and you have a truck, for example. It does not solve a situation. Plus, remember that right now Russia is a no-fly zone, including Moscow, including St. Petersburg. So they cannot rely on a via connection. They are worried about railroads. They need to use trucks, but they cannot use trucks. Why? Because they don't have gasoline. And why? Because of the success of the Ukrainian drone sanctions. And they try to relocate some of gasoline from Kaliningrad, from Königsberg, yeah, it must be Königsberg, from the Baltic area to the Far East, to Vladivostok, to Astrakhan, and that is not easy. It takes a lot of time, and once again, various accidents happen to such trains. So you have to understand that since January, and that is like 9 months, the prices on gasoline grew 50%. 50%. Imagine something similar happening in your countries. Millions of people would have been already on the streets protesting against that. And Russians experienced so many problems which they invited when cheered for the special military operation, and they still do not react in a proper way. And gasoline and diesel prices grew 10% during this September. Why? Because the number of drone sanctions is growing. The number of Russian oil refineries that stopped operating for a long period of time is growing. We turned this strategy into something bigger because not only we paralyzed refineries and depots as we did previously, but we also target pipelines, pumping stations, which are very complex and impossible to repair, and even export ports like Tuapse and Novorossiysk. This is a strategy, and this strategy works so effectively that you can literally see it on the streets of Russia. Well, they don't go protesting because they don't have this habit, they don't have this dignity, but you can see queues of trucks, of cars, you can see people stealing fuel from each other's tanks during night, which is, I think, an epic loss for a nation already. So hopefully more and more of them will come to realize that this war will destroy a country. This war will lead to the collapse of the country, but not Ukraine. the Russian Federation. And to witness that together, join the community of our channel and remember to follow me on Instagram, X, Blue Sky, Threads, Discord, all the links in the description of this video. Same as the link to our merch shop with lots of really good items that remind the world about Ukraine, and I'm always happy to learn how you wear them, how you speak with people in different corners of the world about our fight and the need to defeat Russia. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel, but most importantly, thank you for standing with Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!